What's up guys, it's Jay from Clerks, and I am here to deliver unto you some top 5 wisdom. Now, that top 5 wisdom is going to be in nerfy foam flinging form. Alliteration aside, we will be talking about the top 5 blasters that hit the market in any form or variety. They will not all be Nerf blasters because some really good blasters came out outside of the Nerf ecosystem. As far as Nerf itself is concerned, it was mostly just a banner year for Rival. Rival is definitely the part of the brand that really caters to the older Nerfers, of which I am one of them, and they did a really great job. Like, the Rival line has had both innovations and practical blasters, and they've been aesthetically like pretty pleasing, but ultimately they've just been really, really good performance-wise, and they are still pretty easy to modify. Some of them are so good, in fact, that they don't need modifications necessarily. So, without any more talking about it, let's get into the list with our honorable mentions. Neither of these are Rival blasters, but they deserve to be mentioned honorably. So coming in, we have the Ravenfire and the Modulus Strike. Now, the Modulus Strike came in at $39 and the Ravenfire came in at $60. It also looked significantly nicer than this one. If you guys have any idea what's going on here, you must be followers of my Instagram, which will be somewhere over there, or over there, or over there. Anyway, you should check me out on Instagram. The link is in the description box below, and it would give you an idea of what is going on with this new hotness. However, talking about the blasters in their stock form, they're just solid replacements for very beloved blasters that do really cool things in terms of their performance and ergonomics, both separately and in tandem. See what I did there? Anyway, these are both great blasters, and while more expensive than the versions of them that have come before, their predecessors, that is the word that I was just looking for, they're solid. They're functional copies. They perform pretty much exactly the same, and they're cross-compatible with all the parts and kits that we've come to know and love. So, these guys deserve an honorable mention because 2017 brought them back to us, so we could just love them and absolutely tear them down into nothing and destroy them, which for some of us is how we love blasters. So that is the Ravenfire and the Modulus Strike, and they are our honorable mentions. Let's get into number 5. So I wanted to open up number 5 with a Deadpool quote, but there wasn't a single Deadpool quote that I could find that was clean enough for my channel. The Merc truly does have quite the mouth. However, in spite of his R rating, these blasters are awesome. They ought to be rated R. They are that bad. So bad in this case being good, like they are bad. Anyway, these are the Deadpool Chronoses. The regular Chronos has hit Target. As of the publishing of this video, it is at most Targets, and it's on sale for 15 United States dollars. So while you have to pay a ton of money for this version, the regular version's 15 bucks. Buy the regular version. Don't support GameStop. Why would you support GameStop as a business? Anyway, this is a solid blaster. This is our first true Rival pistol outside of the ones that have been made by others in the past. But this is the first production Rival pistol, and it's pretty great. It's all that Rival power with an internal magazine and compact form factor to punch. These are sweet. There's really nothing bad that I could say about them. They're just small, and that's realistically the only reason that they're so low on the list. I wish that I could put them at the top of the list, but there's so many great Rival blasters that technically came out this year that I had to put this one at the very bottom of the list, even though it is very, very deserving of its spot. There isn't a single bit of wasted space in it. Ergonomically, it is awesome. It's so good. Also, I'm a big fan of the Desert Eagle. As you well know, they call me Mr. 50 cal, and I can't dual wield these without like simulating my own recoil. Like they're too much fun. So this is the Deadpool version. Again, you can get the regular Phantom Core version much cheaper, but these are sweet. They're not particularly expensive if you get the right version, the white version. which is easier to paint anyhow and do custom cool stuff to, and they deliver a lot of performance. I am working on a game type right now where these will have a very important role to play. A specific kind of player is going to absolutely fall in love with these at the SCNC, and I think I'm going to allow them to be dual wielded because why not? They're so cool that way. Anyway, that's our number 5. Number 4 is not a rival. Advancing into our number 4 slot is this Turbo Blaster. Get it? See what I did there? The Zuru Turbo Advance is one of very few blasters that has had the honor of being my constant companion through foam flinging combat on multiple continents. Ugh, what a tongue twister. Anyway, this blaster, seriously enough, defended me in Shenzhen, China, while I was fighting off an entire horde of Zuru employees with Aaron Esser. He and I knew that we absolutely had to grab the baddest of the bunch, and so we each grabbed 40-shot capacity Zuru Turbo Advances. And these things are sweet. Not only are they rapidly reloadable with drums that can be completely removed, but they also limit your ammo with a special plunger tube that flips back and forth utilizing this mechanism, allowing you to shoot 20 at a time, solid performance, good darts, even if the darts are a little short for my taste, they are solid ammo, and you get way more of them than you need to load the blaster. As far as value goes, this could be at the top of the list. The blaster is priced right, performs well, and comes with a lot of good things about it. Now, it is a Zuru blaster, which means that, like, quality-wise, it is not the highest on the list, but just like, man, what a great pump-action Springer that requires no magazines or accessories. It's just a really solid sci-fi shooter. It delivers the hits, then you flip it, and it keeps on coming. I really dig this blaster. I have every intention of using this at an HVZ coming up sometime soon. I think that it's got a lot of potential for that game type, particularly because you can constantly top off your drum as you're running between checkpoints and missions, or if you happen to find a safe zone somewhere along the way, it would be really easy to top off from a dump pouch with not only Zulu ammo, but any ammo. It's pretty forgiving in what it will shoot. And then obviously if like the zombies are really coming, it's as simple as just grabbing this, pulling forward, dropping out, slamming in a new turret. Also a trick that Aaron and I discovered while we were in China, since the turret is round and flat on the bottom, you can throw it back and forth. If you have a full one and your buddy needs ammo, it is really easy to kind of pass it back and forth. And I'm gonna take a quick Canadian jab at Aaron. When I was passing him the turbo advanced cylinders that I had loaded, I would roll them to him because that maintained the most momentum and minimized friction, and the engineer brain inside was like, this is the most efficient way to give my buddy some sweet Zuru darts. And Aaron would always slide them, hockey puck style. Coincidence? I think not. Rivaling our number 4 is our number 3 blaster, and it is another pump action Springer. Now, this pump action Springer is good to go right out of the box. It is awesome. For a Nerf blaster, that's saying something. I love dissecting these things and making them better. And while this one has some slight modifications from my friends over at Containment Crew, this one is pretty sweet. This is the Nerf rival Artemis XVI-3000 because it holds 30 rounds in its stock form, and it comes with 30 rounds because the company that has way more disposable income can't be as generous as the company that doesn't. Never mind that. Anyway, the Artemis is a solid blaster. It's the number 1 blaster I recommend to parents who come to the SCNC Wars and ask me like, wow, this is so much fun. We didn't even know you existed. What should I buy my kid so that he has a really good time but doesn't have to fool too much with like a loadout or magazines? Like, what's a good intro to super stock blaster? What will make him have a great time, be reasonably competitive, and not cost an arm and a leg? The answer is the Artemis. The Artemis is out of the box a solid primary class blaster. It is accurate, it holds a reasonable amount of ammunition without like breaking the bank, and that ammunition is super duper durable, so not only can you scavenge it off the ground, but also outside of losing it, it should shoot 100 times easy. So They come in a variety of colors. Obviously there's Team Red and Team Dead. You could choose either color if you wanted, but they are really, really nice. In terms of their overall performance, they have a pretty smooth prime. They normally come with a vertical foregrip. Again, my friends over at Containment Crew sell these angled foregrips with the fangs on them, and they are rock solid as well. But it's a rotating, it almost doesn't need to be rotating, but that's how it works as a mechanism. Like, it's just a pump action springer for rival, and it's the best pump action springer for rival. Now, these vacillate in their price. You can pay as much as $45 for them these days, but realistically, one major retailer, at least in the States, has a sale on them at any given point in time. I think my buddy EOC got one for like 20 bucks recently. It's not that hard to find a deal on them like that, especially if you're willing to do like a buy one, get one 50% off or something like that, and price match. Like, you know how to work the system. You're an American retail person. You buy a lot of stuff, I guess. It seems like Americans buy a lot of stuff. All the Americans I know have a lot of stuff. Anyway, the Artemis is a solid blaster. It's a great introduction to super stock. It's also the best introduction to rival outside of maybe this guy. This is definitely one of my favorite blasters, especially if I'm not hosting the war, which is rare these days, but if I'm not hosting the war that I'm attending, I have been at events where I did not know I was going to attend the event, like in other countries, and it's so easy to just run to Target or their equivalent, buy an Artemis off the shelf, and be good to go for a day of fun. It's crazy how simple and effective this blaster is with any amount of cardiovascularity added. Like, just add legs, Nerf Artemis. That's our number 3. Let's move on to number 2. It's got some thwack to it.
Are we filming?
Why did you take your hat off?
Because I'm Legolas now.
Why?
Because it's bow time! Get it? Go time? Seriously, the number 2 on our list is the Phobo Pro. I've been waiting for a blaster like this forever. A realistic, like, safe to use, fun to use, practical for wars, archery equivalent that, like, isn't a joke, I guess is the best way to put it. We get so many pseudo bow blasters that aren't really bow blasters. They shoot darts, or they shoot Nerf arrows, which are just foam tubes. Like, this is like a realistic archery experience with arrows that are super lightweight and safe to shoot. Like, this is just a ton of fun. Absolutely love the Phobo. Cannot shoot the Phobo Pro. Phobo Pro, yo, bro. It's the Phobo Pro. It's so much fun to talk about, but also, like, I actually can't shoot it sitting down, so we will try one more time. My obvious favorite thing about this is that you can shoot it off of any recurve. You do need a recurve that's been kind of torqued down on account of you can shoot it off of any recurve. Like, don't hurt people. With great power comes great Spider-Man. But the Phobo Pro is awesome. Probably not for indoor play at all, but this is definitely my number 2 pick. I've used it at exactly one war. It's so cold now that I don't want to use it because you have to really get your digits in there and they freeze easy. But this is one of my favorite blasters of the year. It's definitely one of my favorite blasters, like, that I've been playing with during the warmer months, and it needed to be mentioned because it is just that cool. So this is the Phobo Pro. It's realistically an ambidextrous, low weight, not even recurve, just like longbow. The thing that makes it absolutely special is these arrows. The Phobo Pro arrows are the real beating heart of this, which is why you can just buy the arrows and use any bow you want, but they have these soft foam tips, these thin tube shafts, and actual nocks on them, so they work with realistically anything. But that is the Phobo Pro, yo, and it is our number 2. This comes from a company called Marky Sparky Toys, and I realized that out of everything on this list, this is the one that's going to be the most obscure and possibly the hardest to find. And while I have a full review on this awesome blaster, I will also link this one. I'll link all of them. These are good blasters that I want you guys to be able to find, so I will link all of them in the description box below, but this one in particular is worth a look-see. Now, if we've got everything from full Legolas power to pump action awesomeness to pump action awesomeness to real pistols and classics reimagined, what could possibly be better than that?
You got the Nerf Nemesis?
Yeah, I do. That's the prototype though.
Dude, this is like the world's best Nerf gun ever!
That's right, Aaron. It's the greatest Nerf Blaster of all time. So Aaron and I are both like speedball players. Like, we have backgrounds in competitive paintball. And nothing is more exciting to us than the Nemesis. When the Nemesis came out, he was so excited by it that he wanted to steal my prototype Nemesis from my workshop. Can you believe that guy? Anyway, the Nemesis is a 100-round copper-fed rival blaster that delivers the hits. And when I say delivers the hits, I mean it accurately delivers hundreds of hits. It is an awesome blaster. Now, Sauron is my rendition of it, complete with vampire hydrographics and full rewire and lipo power. This is truly like a top shelf Nemesis. I've seen people turn them into pistols. I've seen people turn them into integration fodder, but I wanted a dedicated Nemesis platform complete with the ergonomics that it has stock, which are not bad. They're definitely like adult sized. Everything from the stock to the handle to even the foregrip is fitted reasonably well to an adult / teenager style body, and it's an awesome blaster. The only thing that I can say bad about the Nemesis is the price. The Nemesis, when it dropped, was $100 more if you were out of the United States. It was a very, very expensive blaster. Now, I personally thought that it was worth every penny. However, I nerf a lot. Like, a lot. Like, way more than anybody should nerf. However, I got my money out of mine, I want to say, in the first month. I absolutely love playing with this blaster. It does eat through ammo pretty quickly, and a lot of people have been coming up with solutions to that, from giant boxes of ammo that you never have to reload. I myself wear paintball pods when I use my Nemesis, but it's a great blaster. It is a full auto rival powerhouse that these days can be picked up for 60 or 70 United States dollars. And at that price, it's not only fair, I think it's actually a bargain, because it's realistically like one of very, very few Nerf blasters that I think is worth a 3-figure price tag. And man, don't ever tell Hasbro that I said that, but like, this blaster is worth the money it costs. It is that cool. It is just a behemoth of a blaster. It has high capacity, awesome performance, reasonable accuracy, and good rate of fire. It's a simple platform that just works, and on top of all of that, it's easy to modify and great for paint. Like, this is a hydrographics paint job. I've seen people do dry brushing wizardry on the Nemesis because it has so many cool nooks and crannies and lines and facets that you can really play off of. I'm working on 2 more Nemesis right now, and I'm very excited to share those projects with you, mostly because they're not stripes. I'm just so excited to not work on stripes for a little while, guys. Anyway, that is my list. All of these things, as always, are opinions. And opinions are important because while I have one and I made a video about mine, you have an opinion and I would like you to make a comment about yours. So please comment down below, help me do my job better. Let me know, do you agree with my list? Is there anything on my list that you disagree with? Is there anything that you think should be higher or lower? Are you one of those losers who thinks that stripes are the greatest end-all be-all blaster? Should it be a full numbered blaster even though it's just a repaint? Or do you think that it should be rival all the way? Should the list have all rival blasters all the time? Because don't get me wrong, I wanted to put the Hera on this list. I think that the Helios is a great blaster. Like, there are a lot of really good options out there just in rival alone, but I didn't want it to be all rival the top 5 video, just like I didn't want my worst one to be all something the top bottom video. Anyway, that is my list. Please share your thoughts, comments, critiques, or just give me your top 5 down in the the comment section below. As always, remember that you can find links to the blasters that I've mentioned in this video in the description box below. If you want your very own slick Drac shirt, you too could sport slick merch like this, and I have a Teespring store that I'll be linking in the description box below as well. Nothing's changed in that regard, it's just if I don't mention it, nobody ever visits my Teespring store. I don't think there are a lot of people going to teespring.com and searching for Nerf Vampire. That might be my mistake. Anyway, merch and blasters, description box below, comments below even that. Happy New Year, much love, Nerf fun, Drac out.
Cracking.